Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Long. With me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Gloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I'm swell, Charles. How are you?
I'm good. I've been thinking about my future career in radio recently. That's what I've been doing.
Radio?
I think I could be a good DJ, a good disc jockey.
You would never pick any songs that anyone likes, you know that, right?
I know. That's why I think I'd be good.
Oh, I guess that's true, actually.
Yeah.
Radio people always somehow manage to play the absolute worst songs possible.
Exactly.
They either play the same 4 hits over and over again, or they play the same 8 old songs that no one likes.
The same fucking classics. It's like, yeah, we've all heard Highway to Hell. We get it, you know? It's not that fucking
You got the
great.
same 40-year-old woman calling in saying, "Can you play this song from my 20s?" No one's ever heard it before, and no one cares.
And no one wants to fucking hear it, is the real problem. Yeah, so I think I'll play... I could be one of those radio hosts that's, like, got their finger on the pulse of modern, hip, underground, independent music. And that could be fun.
Oh.
Did you see that Peaky Blinders action figure I sent you the other day? I was in a store and I saw it. I was like, Jake would love this.
I did, but you know what I also saw? I saw this pitch that I wrote.
Oh, and what would that be?
Because I was writing it. It's called Galaxy Crunch.
Oh.
Just based on the name, what do you think Galaxy Crunch is about?
I would say, I think Galaxy Crunch is a cereal. That would be
You're pretty close.
Like a
pretty
cereal
close.
or a candy bar, and then the show is about like, maybe it's about people trying to sell the candy bar. I'm thinking it's more like.
Are you reading my sheet here?
No, I'm not. I'm just guessing. Maybe it's like a Clerks style, like, you know, low down, slow, relaxed, you know, comedic. Set in real life, but it's actually in space or something.
Yes, essentially. It is it's a sitcom about people selling Galaxy Crunch across the universe.
Oh.
We're following a group of Galaxy Bar salesmen as they travel the universe trying to sell the most Galaxy Crunch bars.
All right. I already have an idea for an episode, but I want to see if you catch it. So,
okay.
Tell us about
I probably
this.
don't have that idea, but here are some of the characters. The captain and chief salesman is David S. Biscuits. He's an educated hillbilly, has everything, wants to do everything by the book. So salesman-wise, he's all about, like, following the exact same pitch every single time. Mm-hmm. Has no idea how spaceships work, but still wants to be in charge. He's a little older. He's early 30s. He just wants to make his mom proud. His mom's like an executive at the Galaxy bar company.
Is she a hillbilly as well?
No. Like she's like the way I imagine his childhood is like he grew up with his dad and his mom's this executive that was never home. You know,
Okay.
And his dad's a hillbilly. And he lived in like fucking West Virginia or something.
Yeah, or the intergalactic equivalent of
West Virginia, Space West Virginia. That's what he lived in.
That's
the whole
what-
planet.
That's what we're calling it, Space West Virginia. Where's Space Virginia? We did make one.
It's west of it.
It's over there. That's what West Virginia is. West Virginia means that it's east of Virginia, because Virginia is west of West Virginia. Makes sense. What are you, stupid?
Yeah, fucking idiot. Next, we have Akoya Marks. Akoya Marks, she's a college space engineering intern. She needs credit, and she didn't get into her top internships, and this is the only one that would take her. Mm-hmm. And it's technically a sales position, but they've sort of finagled it into being an engineering internship position because they needed someone that could do some sort of maintenance on the ship, and they couldn't afford anyone to actually do that, so they hired her as an intern.
Yeah.
She wants a good letter of rec, so she tries to do well, but she's also super lazy and incredibly unqualified because she is just a space engineering student. She's not she's not graduated. She doesn't have a graduate degree or anything.
She doesn't know
She's
what
doing
the
her
fuck.
bachelor's.
Yeah. She knows about lift. Maybe she knows of, like, the basics.
She does, like, the math equations, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's about it. Next, we have Chad Chillings. Chad Chillings is a junior salesman at the company. He's probably, like, late 20s. Akoya's probably early 20s, by the way, since she's in college.
Okay.
Chad Schillings is junior salesman. He's a total frat bro, but super PC, but PC in a space PC sense. So we can have some fun with that.
Yeah, of course.
He knows how to have fun. Wants to be captain. Wants to like move up the company. But he's pretty, laid back. He just wants to the one having fun mixes with the doing the job a lot, and it doesn't always turn out well.
Listen, all Chad wants to do is do beer bongs and protect the rights of minority groups. Those are his two things.
And sometimes those two things happen at the same time.
Perfect world.
Next we have
worlds.
Dr. Martha Dodicaris. She's a space paleontologist, and she's renting a room on the spaceship to lower costs for the journey. She's like not part of the company. She just joined on so that she can explore the galaxy for her research. Very smart and overly neat, and super uptight about it all, but doesn't actually want to bother anyone. Like she's the sort of passive aggressive, like, oh, do you wanna clean up your dish? Like,
like the sink's getting kind of full of dirty dishes,
And but she's saying it like in a super quiet way, like she doesn't really want you to hear it, but she wants you to hear it.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, she'll just clean it up for you.
Yeah, it's like me.
It has to be neat. Yeah.
But I
just
do.
Like you. Then we have Kylebot, Kyll bot. He's an unspeaking and like an R2D2 style, so it's like beeps and boops robot. Imagine like the Outer Worlds robot from the classic video game.
The classic video game.
But with a trash can as the body. So for people that haven't played that, it's like
Sam.
Sort of like a humanoid figure, but very bulky. And the center will make a trash can, and it has these big sort of retractable arms.
And he's probably got a whole bunch of tools stored up inside the arms. So sometimes there'll be a clamp, and sometimes there'll be a broom and a dustpan. All sorts of things that could lead, comedic potential. Let's say. And
I was always trying to kill customers, and sometimes does, because this is a Kyll, Kyll, as you can probably guess. The Y is actually just they just sort of scribbled the 2 extra lines on, because it's really an I, and it's a kill bot. And we'll get into why it's not killing them in a second.
Yeah.
Pilot. Ooh, David S. Biscuits is working a desk job at General Hershey Kellogg Mills. That's the name of the company that sells.
General Hershey Kellogg Mills. I like that.
Yep. They had a lot of merger. This is very in the future, and you can imagine that all the major candy companies merged into one, General.
Yeah, exactly. And his favorite movies come from Disney Warner Brothers Fox.
Disney Warner Brothers Fox, yes. So he's giving it opens with him working there. He's giving a big presentation on his new candy bar idea, the Galaxy Crunch. It's a new take on the Galaxy Bar with a biscuit wafer inside. His mom, Taylor M. Biscuits, mostly ignores the presentation and then just sort of waves it off as yeah, sure, do it. Go ahead. I don't care.
Yeah, have fun.
Let's move on to more important things. We've got people complaining about our candy bars being toxic, and there's the whole child labor problem at the plant.
There's the
blah,
wrapping. Blah. We've been making this wrapping out of asbestos for centuries now, and it's part of our brand. It's part of the flavor. But people are complaining their lungs stop working.
Yeah.
So
somebody's like, well, we could come up with an artificial asbestos flavor, and she's like, no, we need the real thing, because then we can't say it's all natural flavors.
Exactly.
It's like, but none of them are natural flavors. But we can't not. We have to say it's natural, though. We have to be right about some things.
Something.
What are we gonna make the chocolate natural? No, let's make the asbestos natural.
Yeah. What, you stupid? It's naturally grown asbestos. And we have to squash these labor unions, all right? We need to start just beheading our union executives, all right? Including you, Gerald. Gerald's dragged away. Taken to a secret dark room.
Shot. Just hear one lone gunshot ring out.
All right, back to business.
And then a candy bar dispenses out of a machine. And it's like implied that he became the candy bar.
he was
fucked up.
Yeah, it just dropped into the chair. and everyone else is like, or maybe everyone at the conference table is handed out a little tiny fun-sized candy bar and like patted on the head by a robot arm that comes out of the ceiling. And it's like, this is your...
It just grabs their shoulder and says, eat it.
Yeah. This is your monthly bonus. Congratulations. You've managed to survive 6.2 months in the...
Yeah. General Hershey Kellogg Mills.
In the General Hershey Kellogg Mills mill. So welcome to the family. Something like that.
So David S. Biscuits leaves the meeting, and he's like all excited, and he's gonna like start trying to hire new people. And so he puts out a recruiting notice in the interior of the company to see if anyone wants to sign up. And all he ends up with is Chad Schillings, a junior salesman, trying to work his way up, and he sees this as an opportunity, to get some work experience, because he didn't realize that no one actually. So he like went to school for sales and like wanted to be a door-to-door salesman, but this is the future. There's no door-to-door salesman anymore.
Yeah, nobody has doors anymore. We all use teleportation. It's a fucking ridiculous
don't exist.
thing. Yeah.
He's got a completely defunct career that doesn't happen, and now they're hiring for it. So he's all excited.
Yeah.
So
he
like joins in. And I also get Okoye Marks, as I explained earlier, the intern, because she needed a job. And together with their absolutely zero funds, they go to a junkyard and they get an old space advertising billboard. So these are like, I imagine in the future they'll have these billboards just in space, just floating, so that people, like, as they're flying past, they'll see it and be like, oh yeah, I should buy a Galaxy bar. And so they set it up with the Galaxy bar advertising, on the screen. Okoye is doing most of the work here. And they sort of retrofit the interior so that they could live in it, but it's kind of cramped quarters,
Yeah.
It's like bunk beds, maybe like one living room, and very tall. It's like how some people have apartments that are multiple levels, like first floor is the living room, second floor is the bedroom, third floor is something else. Even the laundry room is its own floor. Yeah. It's like that. You have to go up the ladder or the staircase every time you want to go to something else.
Exactly, like those tiny homes. Right? It's a big tiny home and they all have to live in it. We've already got marketing possibilities. We could sell this Galaxy Crunch playset. You open it up to the side. It would be pretty cool, and you have your little robot killing machine, and he's in the basement. You get every crew member has their own room. There you go. Man, we're just printing money hand over fist here. You could sell Galaxy Crunch
toy sales.
Wrap them in asbestos, just like the kids want them.
So while Okoye is working on the ship, she actually turns on a robot that's inside, which starts attacking her and Chad. It's like, it's chasing them through the ship, runs out to the junkyard. They're like, trying to survive because there's a murderous robot with a flamethrower and all types of weird, strange weapons.
But the whole time, she's like, oh my god, this robot's trying to kill us. And Chad's like, excuse me, that's not like they're sprinting down the hallway. Excuse me, that's not really an appropriate way of referring to
We wouldn't say robot, okay?
He's a mechanical
don't say the R word, all right?
Individual. Mechanical
say
individual.
Mechanical life form, okay?
Yeah. Duh, God. Some people are just so insensitive. Ridiculous. He looks back and he says, robot rights. Wait, no, I can't say. Well, she's like, what? You can't say robot. You just told me I can't. She's like, no. See, you're saying it with a hard T. See, there's a difference there. Listen, I have a lot of robot friends. They gave me the R word pass, okay? So, just leave it alone. You obviously don't know what the hell you're talking about. And he's like, I'm so sorry. Hell is, it's a very derogatory term. My best friend moved to hell last summer, and he loves it.
It's great. Okay. Jeez. The rent there, it's amazing.
Fantastic. He lives next to Mussolini, the best garden in the entire neighborhood.
Really great, knows how to make his fertilizer.
And the risotto is delicious.
Nothing like an Italian neighbor, I'm telling you.
Yeah. They know what they're doing over there.
So while they're getting chased and having that conversation, David is out trying to get more funding from his mom, but she declines, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to spend all day trying to sell Galaxy Crunch bars so I can get more money. And we have this whole montage of him going door to door, trying to sell these bars, doing the same speech over and over and over again, failing every single time. Can't sell a single box. And he ends up at a diner, like all sad, just sort of like munching on a bar, like crying. You know, trying to like, has like a big paper out trying to do the math to figure out how he can, you know, finish repairing the ship and get them on this journey. And
if the next store buys every single unit I have, as well as 10,000 additional units, we should have just enough money to you know, break even. So, like, he's, like, completely oblivious to the actuality. He's trying to stir, he's taking a coffee, or, a cup of coffee or whatever. He's stirring the Galaxy Crunch bar, just crumbles into this, like,
it's
disgusting... it's, like, bubbles and fizzes.
It just falls out of the coffee.
Yeah.
And he just drinks it up.
That
actually might be kind of good, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, I love putting a coffee. Have you ever done that? Taking a chocolate bar and you just put it in a coffee and you just let it melt?
No.
It's fucking delicious.
I haven't. I was thinking that the amount of bars he needs to sell is actually really low to get the money.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's even more tragic that he just needs to sell like 10.
Yeah.
And he can't do it. He's so bad. Because then it fits with just outside the diner, Dr. Martha Dodicarus gets kicked off a science ship because she can't afford rent and no one cares about her research there. And they're also really annoyed at her passive-aggressive cleanliness reminders. Like, the doctor's like, I can't stand it. Look, if you want me to clean up the milk spill, just say it. Just don't say, oh, are we going to leave that there? I don't care. Like, I can't handle it. Just get out. Go.
Get out. Maybe she's investigating some, like, archaeological thing that is obviously factual, but everyone else doesn't believe it. You know? Like, I don't know what exactly, but it could be like, no, humans never stepped on the moon. What are you, ridiculous? That would be insane. How would they even get up there? A big ladder? She's like, no, I can prove it. There is evidence. Factual, physical evidence that man has stepped on the moon.
I got it. It should be that birds fly. Birds never flew. What are you talking about? Birds don't fly. They're on the ground.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Look at that chicken. Tell me that could fly. And it's like a really horribly genetically modified chicken. You know, just like taking what we do to chickens now and just like adding centuries on it. So it's this fat little ball of meat and feathers that just like rolls itself across the ground. And it's like, it's got one big eye. And it's like, doesn't even balk anymore. It's like, no, this thing used to be a dinosaur. Now look at it. It's delicious.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's shaped like a chicken nugget, probably.
Yeah, it's shaped like, maybe they have like 4 different kinds of chickens, and they're all just shaped like the weird McDonald's chicken nugget shapes. I don't even know what they are, like the boots, the broccoli, whatever.
So David offers her to join. He's like, well, you could, you know, renting on our ship would be really cheap. You know, we got an extra room. And so she decides to join them. And they go back to the junkyard for their ship, and they find Chad and Okoye still getting chased by the robot. And they fall in the fight too, getting chased. And they're all cornered. They're all gonna die. And that's when David throws the Crunch Bar packet at it, and the candy bar gets stuck in the gears of the robot.
Yeah.
And the wafer crunch sticks into it, and it becomes peaceful. It's like something about the way it sticks in the gears, like turns off the kill function of the robot.
Maybe it's got like a literal, like a light switch just inside of its guts somewhere, and it's like kill, you know, clean, or whatever. And it just like flips the switch from kill to clean. And he's like, oh, let me, you know, he goes up and it doesn't talk, obviously. And it like wipes some, you know, dust off of Chad's jacket or something. Also, I'm assuming Chad has like futuristic Oakleys on at all times, and he's wearing like a pearl or like a shell necklace and like 2 popped polo shirts and frosted tips. Like he's a frat bro from 2002, but it's 3002 or whatever. So
Back in style.
Yeah, he's got the flip phone out. And they're like, why do you have that? Oh, it's a family heirloom. See, look at my granddad. And it's just like a picture of Justin Timberlake or something. You know, obviously not his granddad. He was a frat douche too. We come from a long line of frat douches. So, respect your elders, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how it ends. And it's going to be a continual thing where they have to feed Kyle the bars or he'll start killing again.
Yeah. He loves them. They're his favorite.
They'll reflip the switch or whatever.
Yeah.
The gears will. Yeah. So,
But-
maybe he does love them.
But that they say, like, oh yeah, he loves them. They're his favorite food. And he's just, like, got this murderous look in his eyes as the cookie slowly disintegrates and the switch is, like, flipped back to kill.
Yeah,
Like,
slowly
see,
going back.
Kyle, go give our new friend a hug, or whatever. Go show him how nice you are. He goes up, he just, like, fucking cuts his head off or something. It's like, oh,
Shit,
Kyle. They throw it in real
Shove the
fast.
candy bar in.
Yeah. See, now he's back to normal. Sorry about your friend, but would you like to buy any of our delicious bars?
As you can see, they're very useful.
Yeah, very, very useful. They work and they're tasty. Takes a bite out of it. He's making a face that's like, it's delicious. Yum.
Great.
And
All
it's
right.
like a tear rolls down his cheek as he's trying to smile.
Yeah.
They're like, I think we're good. Thank you. Maybe they're trying to sell it at a 7-Eleven that's in space. Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, we could have a lot of crossovers.
We could. This is a crossover heavy series, which I appreciate. I'm always a fan of.
So, episode idea I've got. They try to sell them to a mining colony. A group of dwarf miners live on a space station above a mining planet. And they sort of drop pod down to get to the planet.
Yeah.
And do the mining, and then they go back up. Aquia, Dr. Martha, David, and Kyle all go down to the planet with the dwarves because they're they land on the station, and there's only one dwarf there. And he's like, well, everyone else is down there, and the captain's down there, so if you want to sell these bars, you got to go talk to them. And so everyone except for Chad goes down, and Chad stays with the dwarf.
Yeah.
And they crack open some dwarven beer, and, things depreciate.
Do a big keg stand, Maybe the dwarves have, they're very bratty. Instead of being, a quiet and respectful, dignified race of craftsmen and miners, right? They're just, a whole bunch of frat bros who,
He fits in perfectly.
Yeah. It's like, maybe I was a dwarf in a past life, and he shows them a picture of his family, and it's like, oh, that's Sheila. That's my cousin. She's a
tall person.
dime
But
piece.
she's part dwarf.
Yeah. And he's doing keg stands and beer. Maybe they have a futuristic version of beer pong, where they use precious gems instead of a ping pong ball because they're dwarves. That sort of thing.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
We'll get into the party in a second. So down on the planet, they've landed. The dwarves at first are like, who the hell are you guys? And they're like, the other guy said to come down here. We're trying to sell you Galaxy Crunch bars. And David goes into the whole spiel. And they're like, this is a really dangerous place to be. We're trying to, our dozers broke down. We're trying to repair it. And Aquaria's like, I guess I can help. And so she's trying to help them fix their thing. Meanwhile, Dr. Martha is like, oh, this is amazing. This planet is so interesting. And she starts going around and wants to, explore and see if there's any sort of, evidence that she can use for her research. And she brings Kyle with her because she's like, well, don't worry, I'll be safe because David's worried about her. She's like, I'll bring Kyle with me, and if anything goes wrong, he can protect me.
He'll protect
David's continually trying to pitch to the dwarves. He's like, these bars, the crunch, it tastes great. Just try it. And they're like, no, we can't eat them. It's terrible. Don't want your stupid bars.
We don't want your bars. We don't
General
want
Kellogg's, Mills, Hershey, they screwed us over back in the past. They turned one of our mining planets into a manufacturing plant for those stupid bars.
Maybe they're allergic to chocolate, and he doesn't know that. Like, he keeps trying to sell them the bars, and his, I'm sorry, I'm derailing a little bit, but he's like, well, if they eat them, they'll figure out how much they love them, so they, like, he puts them in their food or whatever. And then they, like, eat it, and they're like, this just tastes a little weird. It's like, yeah, it's Galaxy Crunch. Put it in there. Wait, the chocolate bars? Yeah, the chocolate bars. We're alert. And they just, like, start, puking up blood, like in the Hateful Eight. It's just like,
oh, that might work out. Okay, yeah.
Just geyser of blood comes out.
So they can't eat these bars. Mm-hmm. They're just vomiting. They're crazy. You'll see why that works out in a second. Back on the station, Chad and the drunk dwarf are having an absolute party with the other stations around. It's freaking wild. There's tons of dwarfs there, lizard people, all kinds of crazy things everywhere.
Space.
It's absolutely wild, and they've completely trashed the place.
Absolute
we're gonna have some nice party, and we can have the beer pong thing here.
Yeah. Zero G beer pong or whatever, arm wrestles, but like Chad is arm wrestling like an octopus man. He's got 8 arms. He's like, you only use 4 of your arms, man. It's only fair if you use half your arms. I'm using half my arms, you use half your arms. Oh, fine. I'm right tentacled, so we're gonna do right side only. Oh man, fine. Okay, do right tentacles then, I guess. The whole thing.
Yeah.
Beer pongs, keg stands.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he shows them how to do, I don't know. What's a weird thing that people do on Earth when they're partying? That aliens would be like, that's odd. Maybe it's like a shoey. There's an Australian thing. You know what a shoey is?
You drink a beer out of a shoe?
Yeah, exactly. You pour beer into a shoe and then you drink it out of the shoe. And they're like, all right, let's do it. Everybody take your shoes off. And they're like, that's actually really insensitive, Chad. We don't all have feet.
We don't have shoes. Some of us don't have feet.
Yeah, or mouths. Or digestive systems. So, how about you check your privilege? He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Is there anything I could do? It's like, actually there is. If you metabolize the alcohol and then spit it in my eye, then I'll get drunk. Okay, fine. So he's just, like, baby birding them beer.
Okay, back at the bottom, Okoye messed up, triggering an earthquake on the dozer. Like, the dozer starts, slamming into the wall, and it cracks the rock, and a big earthquake happens. Mm-hmm. Which separates the passageway that Martha went down from the rest of the group. So Martha and Kyle are, like, on the other side of this cave-in. David is desperately trying to reach them. Like, he's grabbed a pickaxe from the doors. He's chopping away. He's like trying to get to Martha. And Martha is running out of galaxy bars to feed Kyle.
Yeah.
So her problem is the robot is about to become killer. And just as it seems like Martha is gonna die because she just fed him the last crunch bar, it gets worse. And a swarm of like these creatures attacks, like the planets, whatever lives there, like these like bug things.
Yeah,
we have something really weird.
Giant spiders, but they're like a funny version of the spiders. So they've got like, I don't know, the giant punk spiders, and they've all got like leather vests on and a bunch of like, what's it called? Clothespins and dyed mohawks and stuff. It's the punk spiders of the, lower catacombs. They're just gonna
start attacking.
They just gonna tell you so much about how much they hate capitalism while they're wearing their, $300 vests. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah. So the swarm attacks, and David, Okoye, and the dwarves are fighting, and everyone's, having a rough time. Martha is like struggling, but it actually ends up working out because Kyle switches to kill mode and starts absolutely murdering all the freaking bugs.
Yeah. Oh, so great.
And in the commotion, David managed to get to Martha and pull her through. Mm-hmm. But Kyle like bursts through and he's gonna kill them, and there's bugs everywhere. It seems like it's not gonna be good, but then Okoye triggers another earthquake, which a bunch of rocks fall and destroys all the bugs. And David, just in time, throws Kyle another crunch bar. the Galaxy Crunch Bar, which
Yeah.
stops him. And the dwarves are amazed by the ability of this Galaxy Crunch Bar and how it can stop this killing machine from fighting. And they're like, oh my god, we gotta buy these because these might be useful to us. And he's like, wait, no, but they're only work because of heat. Actually, you know what? Never mind. Yeah, you should buy the bars.
Buy as many as you can.
You're like, yeah, we're gonna buy cases and cases of these. We're gonna use them all the bugs. And he's like, yeah, that's good. And they get back up to this base and it's completely destroyed. And they're like, wow, like there was a massive party that was thrown here, and all the dwarves are super pissed at them because Chad is who gets the blame. And they're like, it's all on all of you stupid salesmen for coming here and destroying our place. We're not buying your stupid bars.
Mm-hmm.
And they get sent back onto their ship and blasted away. And David is yelling at Chad because he messed up the sail. And Chad's like, well, actually, I sold tons of bars to all the people at the party because you see, the vomiting is good because, after you've had a lot of drinks and you need to, clear out your system so you can drink more.
Yeah.
You just have a bar and you vomit. It's great.
Vomit everywhere. It's great. I love those bars. They're great for purging.
Mm-hmm.
You love a good purge.
And so he's like, oh my god, it's amazing. How much money did you make? And he hands him the money. He's like, Chad, this is nowhere near how many the bars you just sold would cost. Like, what happened? And he looks at it and he's like, oh, I sold it for, 45 cents. He's like, it's not 40, it's $4.50, not 45 cents.
Jesus.
So he messed up the decimal point.
Yeah. These are expensive. Why are we trying to sell this crap? I mean, sorry, boss. My fault. My bad. We'll get him next time.
Maybe earlier in the show he has something where he's bad with like numbers and stuff, so that we'll have to set up earlier in the episode where he's like, oh, sorry, because it's bad with the decimal points. Whoops.
He maybe will do like a gag at the very beginning of the show. And it's where the drunken dwarf shows him a picture of all the dwarves who are down there on the planet. It's obviously like thousands and thousands of dwarves, all crammed into one photo. And he's like, God, that's so many. There's got to be like dozens of them. That's ridiculous. And the dwarf just kind of looks up at him. And he said,
there's like 400 in there.
What the? Okay. No one ever said humans are smart. Whatever.
Yeah.
And so they just start partying all day long, all night long, getting messed up, bro. Yeah, that's a good episode. I like it. It's a fun little episode. Nice beginning, middle, and end.
What was your episode idea you had?
Oh, well, I was thinking, what if there's, a competing candy sales group? Because you know how when you're in school, right, you go to public school, I don't know if they do it private schools, in elementary school, right, you would have to sell candy bars, right? You would go to neighborhoods and sell candy bars. So what if there's there's a local university that's doing a sales drive for candy bars, and they're all trying to sell candy bars, and just as that is happening, our crew arrives, and they're also trying to sell candy bars, and it just becomes this all-out war between our crew.
These two competing groups.
And thousands of students, and they're all just spreading rumors about Galaxy Crunch bars, throughout this section of the galaxy. It's like, oh yeah, they'll make you vomit. They're, they jam up robotic, gears and stuff. It's just, they're spreading the most outrageous rumors, but they all turn out to be true because these are such badly made and, ill-conceived candy bars. That's a whole thing. Yeah. And then they, have a big war over it. That could be fun. Big prank war. And then not Chad. And then, they let Kyle out, and he just they don't keep a track of how many bars he has left in him, and so he takes it a little too far, and he ends up destroying an entire planet's worth of college students trying to sell candy bars. And they're like, oh,
gotta stop there.
Oh no. Well, let's get their candy bars. Come on, everybody.
Let's just go. Yep.
This is the competition. We just wiped them off the map. Pick up their merchandise. We'll rebrand.
And let's go.
Let's go.
Another idea I had was they go to a starving colony on the edge of the known universe. Dr. Martha spends the episode like going through old ruins. Maybe she gets attacked by something, but the main focus is going to be Chad and David are trying to sell these the candy bars to the people that live there, but they're all starving, right?
Yeah.
They have no food at all, and so they have to get by it because they need food. And these people get like addicted to the candy bars, and they're going crazy because they live on diets of solely sugar, right?
Yeah.
Going absolutely insane. And they end up practically destroying this colony because they didn't give them real food. They gave them just sugar.
Just sugar and cookies and chocolate. And that was it, And they're just like, they're all tweakers by the end of the episode because they're all just like super hyped up on sugar. And they go, they try and go to sleep. And they just can't. They're like, during the nighttime, they're all just like laying in their bed, eyes like completely open, bloodshot and red, just staring at the ceiling, waiting for the sun to come up so they can go out and eat more chocolate bars. The colony, it's a mining colony, that's what you said, right?
Yeah. No, that was the first one. This is just a colony.
Well, I was like, if they were like extracting some natural resource from the place that they're living, they start giving them the bars, and like within 3 days of our crew arriving, like every natural resource has been stripped from this planet because they're all just working so fast. They're just like, they've turned this planet into like a hollow shell of where people used to live, and now it's just like this entire, population of addicts just running around, and they have to, we could probably do an Indiana Jones homage, right, at the end of the episode, where they're like, sorry you guys, we're out of Galaxy Crunch Bars, but we're really glad you enjoyed our product, and if you want to get any more, we'll be coming back around this place. Give us a few years, 5 or 6 years, we should be back, with a brand new supply. 5 or 6 What? Give us the bars. We know you have more. Give us the and it's like they're running away. They run over a hill. They're like, start the billboard. We gotta go. And they're like, oh, hey, there's David.
Go.
Oh, no. And it's the whole, the Indiana Jones thing of all of the tribes people come over the hill, and it's a big thing.
There's a snake inside the ship. They have to throw it out.
Yeah, they gotta throw it out, but it's a big alien snake, so it's like the same size as a bus. They're just like, shit, this is gonna take a really long time to throw out.
Kyle throws it out.
They get out, they get into the upper atmosphere, and they're like, whew, that was a close one. I feel like we're forgetting something, though. Cut back to Dr. What's her name? Just like in a cave somewhere.
Yeah. Just
in the dark.
Martha Dudikoff just still going through her stuff.
Just like
research. These fossils are really interesting.
I feel like I've been here a while.
It's like the civilization. Yeah. Yeah. I thought they were supposed to come back and get me soon, like you said.
She steps outside, and there's just like an entire tribe's worth of people all just staring at her. Just like staring at her very like intently. She's like, oh no. And they all like raise their spears or, pitchforks or whatever. And just as they're about to attack her, the drop happens, right? Their sugar rush ends, and they all just pass out on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And she just steps over them very lightly and quietly. It's like, hey, you guys, I think you forgot something. She says it very passive-aggressively, of course, because that's her thing. It's her character trait. Yeah.
So they have to get new bars now, obviously. And so they travel to the massive worldwide Galaxy bar refinement plant and find horrid working conditions and child laborers. It's like just the most. It looks like Apocalypse in the DC Comics universe. Like, it is the most terrible place ever to exist, and this is where they make the candy bars.
Maybe they've got like giant robots with like whips and like any horrible like stuff like that, and they've all got the face of his mother on it, and she's just like, get back to work, just repeating over and over again. She's this weird Orwellian dictator who exists on this planet and nowhere else.
Yeah. David is obviously appalled. Chad doesn't mind too much. And Okoye feels like akin to them because she's an intern. She's like, I understand your struggle.
Yeah.
I experienced that daily.
I understand your struggle. And she's like, yeah. But her, obviously, she doesn't. She's never had any working conditions even close to this. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to get dinner at like 9:45 last night. It was ridiculous. I was spending all day working. And, cut back to her working. She's just playing like paper football with herself or something. Just trying to get, Oh, nice.
So the whole episode is going to be them. They're going to leave, and they're like, we're going to make our own bars from scratch. That's what David decides, which no one really wants to do.
Yeah.
And we go through this long, lengthy process of them all making the bars and everything. Like for getting, natural ingredients and everything, and like going to all these different planets to get them all. And they all suck. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But somehow Chad's are actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's made a ton of them. And they're like, okay, we'll just use these. And at the end of the episode, we'll like slyly reveal to the audience that Chad just got them from the kids.
Yeah. He's like, I mean,
As,
they're still making them. It's not like...
yeah, they got the bars.
Yeah.
That's not, like they're not going to be bars there.
Yeah, it's just...
They're galaxy bars.
Well, I feel like if we don't take the kids' bars, it's just all their work is going out, is going to waste.
Nothing, yeah?
So if anything, it would be more immoral to not take these bars. Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. I like how immoral...
Maybe Okoye notices, and she's like, what, like, I thought you really cared about, like, causes, and and he's like, nah, these are kids.
They're kids, who cares?
Kids.
What are you gonna do?
You gotta work hard when you're young, you know?
you can't-
I'm tired of these lazy kids in this generation. It's good they're, working.
Nobody wants to work anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah,
See,
that kind of stuff.
kids can't cancel me. All right, they don't even have a Twitter. You have to be 13. These kids, the oldest one, that one, yeah, he's 9. They don't even know what Twitter is. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I love how
Um,
fucked up this universe is. How cheery and also fucked up it is. I like it. It's good.
So, their ship gets damaged because they crash essentially, and they'll have to work second jobs to pay for the ship repairs. So Koya gets a job working as a mechanic, and she's working it for a long time, and it seems like it's the most successful out of everyone's jobs. But she finds out at the end that it's also an internship, and she doesn't get paid. David does sales for vacuum cleaners, and he's gonna be going around door to door on this planet just trying to sell vacuum cleaners, and he can't sell a single one. Chad becomes a very successful party planner, so we're gonna get some more parties. That's fun.
Yeah.
And then Kyle starts cleaning houses, which is more violent than it should be.
Yeah.
And the doctor just works on her research because she's not, she's renting a room. She's not really.
Yeah, she's not part of the crew.
Some of the other stuff I had in here is that at one point, we're gonna get Martha's gonna get an intern. His name's gonna be Max Bronto. He's a sarcastic science student that's only doing the major because his parents made him. And he's very annoyed. He's an intern to Martha because she's only like a few years older than him.
Yeah.
He's like mid-20s, and she's like early 30s. So it's like, he's like, he doesn't really have respect. We have David's very successful and charming sister's going to come to visit. She's got like, a similar sales thing going on, but hers is very successful, and mom loves her.
Yeah.
And David does not share in that love at all.
She's the child that the mom likes. Maybe they're
She's like working her way up at the company. She's, co-executive or something.
Yeah, maybe they're like country mouse, city mouse style, where she's like a big city, person, and he's the country
she
bumpkin.
got raised with mom. Maybe there was a divorce or something.
Yeah,
He stayed with dad, and she went with mom.
and maybe they show a picture of dad, and he's like an intergalactic warlord.
No, dad's just a hillbilly from, West Virginia. Remember?
Yeah.
He's nobody.
Sorry, I forgot about West Virginia, which is east of.
David had a very sheltered childhood, just fishing and having fun with his dad. Not sheltered, I guess, just like a very casual, fun childhood.
And then his dad
but
died.
his dad died, and his mom took over, and everything just came to a crashing halt in his life, and it became terrible.
Well, maybe he's like, I want to get into the family business. Here, Dad, try this delicious new candy bar I made. When he's like a child.
No, he's not gonna kill his dad.
And his dad eats the candy bar, and it's like, oh, that's really...
No.
Falls over. Dead.
That's terrible.
That is terrible, but so's making his mom a weird fascist dictator. This guy's
Yeah, we can't have them both be he can't have him kill his dad. That's worse.
Okay, fair enough. We won't have him kill his dad. We'll have.
We're gonna have a romance plot between David and the doctor.
Oh, man, see.
Kyle at one point will find love with a toaster. These are just things I wrote down.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. That's my show.
That's
Galaxy
good.
Crunch.
Does the toaster talk, or is the toaster also silent?
I was thinking the toaster to everyone else is just it's just a normal toaster. Like there's no electronic parts to it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it's implied that Kyle can speak
hear
to
it,
it somehow. Like he knows that it's not just a toaster, or maybe it's delusional. It's never really clear to the audience.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any casting ideas for this show?
Casting ideas?
Yeah. So I'm thinking if it's animated, we get Chris Evans to play Chad. I think Chris Evans could do a very good Chad.
I'd like that.
Yeah, I think he'd be very fun. Even if it's live action, maybe he's like a 55-year-old frat bro. Which would also be funny in its own sort of sad way.
For David S. Biscuits, we have Jason Bateman.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be fun. Jason Bateman would do it, too. He'll do anything for a paycheck, just like David S. Biscuits.
Well, I mean, yeah, but probably not.
No,
Jason
probably
Bateman's
not.
pretty famous.
Jason Bateman is pretty famous. And David S. Biscuits, slightly less famous.
For the doctor, it could be
I have a
Kristen
feeling.
Milioti.
Yeah. It's probably going to be a lot of unknowns.
She's the mother in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, is she? I didn't know that.
Who else is she? She's in,
She's the one with the wide head. She's in Scrubs, isn't she?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. She's in,
One of Ted's girlfriends.
No, that's that's Sarah Chalk.
Oh,
She's in
yeah.
Scrubs.
She's the one with the big eyes and the little head.
Yeah, she's got brown hair.
Yeah. I like how you knew
she's
exactly.
In that show, the Hulu show, something like, what is it called? Something, Palm Springs. That's it.
Oh yeah, she's in Palm Springs, with Andy Samberg.
She's another show about it's like this something love. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like this show where, she's like married to essentially the guy that made Google, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and he wants to implant this chip in her head so that he can see everything she sees and she can see everything he sees, but he only sets it up one way.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really like him, so she runs away.
That sounds like
he's like this tech, fucking oligarch essentially.
Yeah.
And so he's like trying to get her back by like
fucking with her brain and stuff. Yeah, that sounds fucked up.
Yeah,
I like it though. It sounds like a
technology.
Black Mirror.
It's a
episode.
pretty messed up show. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
She's in Black Mirror too.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah, so she would play the doctor.
Yeah. And final question. I think this is going to be a new part of the podcast. This is my suggestion.
Until we forget.
Until we forget, obviously. But what style is the theme song going to be in? Like, what are you thinking for the theme song style?
Advertisement jingle.
Advertisement jingle. There we go. Perfect, even. Galaxy Crunch.
I'm thinking like 50s advertisement jingle.
Yeah, that's
we
what
could look up old candy bar advertisements and try to
Mm-hmm.
get the feel for that.
Maybe we could say each episode is brought to you by, and we have a different funny, company or product that is at the beginning of each episode.
Yeah.
Like how Futurama has a different visual gag every single time the ship flies in or whatever. Like this episode brought to you by Chesterfields. Smoke 'em till you're dead. Chesterfields. That's a real cigarette though, so maybe not that. But
Maybe it would be different, brought to you by it'd always be a advertisement from the Galaxy Bars company, but it's a different product they make. They make everything,
Yeah,
It's
they make
General Hershey Mills, whatever catalogs that I said. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? All right.
So it's everything. They make every little product.
Every product, it's vacations. They do cruises, that sort of thing. The whole 9 yards. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, you can go to Galaxy Bar World.
Galaxy Bar World. where you get to make galaxy bars.
Yep. That would be a good one.
Yeah.
We'd have that advertisement after the or maybe before the Galaxy Bar World episode.
Yeah, that'd be good.
They go and
they realize it's
no, I mean by before I mean like the episode before it. So you're like, oh, that's just interesting. Because they have a Galaxy Bar World, and then you go there, and the episode after that, you're like, oh fuck, wow, this is terrible.
Maybe they have like the front for the Galaxy Bar World. They have like a front-facing bit that's like an actual Disney-style resort, and then it's like all of the kids who got lost are, you know, who got left behind at Galaxy Bar World become, you know, enslaved and are forced to make chocolate bars until they're old enough.
Yeah.
And then they're forced into the Galaxy Bar Militia, where they battle against, you know, anti-Galaxy Bar revolutionaries throughout the galaxy. Yeah, alright, well, thank you. That was a good pitch. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny and interesting and informative. Maybe not informative, but it was funny for sure.
And very informative. Yeah, we learned a lot.
We learned a lot about ourselves.
Galaxy Crunch.
And the people who are in How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
So thank you everyone for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles. Along with me has always been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, a follow, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat. And remember, we will be here next week with a brand new televisual series for you to imagine and enjoy. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.
Goodbye.